Good afternoon. Enrico, thank you very much for the invitation. It is the third or fourth conference I am attending, and thank you for everything you've been doing, for all your efforts. We are on Elafonisos. This dot on the map, the southern is the southern part of Peloponnese, the only inhabited island, a place which has huge richness and value for the entire Peloponnese. Personally, I got to know Elafonisos in the 80s, where there were practically no roads, no road network, there was no tourism. We used to travel from Neapoli using a small boat to take us to the beaches, and it got us back on the same day. So we used to swim, and when we went back to our home and described it to our friends, people couldn't believe how beautiful these beaches were. Things have changed now. There is a road network, there are infrastructure, but I think we should promptly do something. When we talk about Elafonisos, we should also include the concept of bearing capacity, destination bearing capacity, the concept of environmental protection, the concept of sustainable development, meaning development which will allow us to deliver our resources and natural beauties to future generations, our children. Because in order for Elafonisos to continue being this heaven on earth, this natural beauty, we need to urgently take measures, develop policies such as the ones mentioned already by the governor of the Peloponnese. And of course, this lies at the heart of our effort. Complementarily to what the governor said, I would also talk about the waste management project, which allows us to better manage our waste and not to dispose them on the mountains. Also, other projects such as the highlight of the Veroutis river, the project that will be signed by the mayor and the governor, which is the biological treatment project, and other similar projects that have to begin and aim at sustainable development. Of course, when we talk about Elafonisos, most of us have in mind the touristic period, but truth is that as policymakers, we are judged also by the policies that improve the quality of life of permanent residents, because when summer is over, there are still people here who should enjoy quality of life that will allow them to stay on the island and form families and work on the island. The presence of Dimitrios Ptochos, the governor of the Peloponnese, and the presence of all of us who share the same vision he described, I believe that this presence is a guarantee. It guarantees that in cooperation with the local authorities and the organizations that are interested in Elafonisos to take the necessary steps that will allow the development of the island. Thank you very much.
Hello. Thanks a lot. I agree 100% with Theodoros. Just to see in the eyes, we understand each other. I want to be, again, to touch a point that is... sorry. From today on, I believe that the Dimarchia is doing a good job because now finally Scala plant is working, and in this way we can avoid to have what we had in the past. But there are two very practical points. First one, we are right now in the summertime, and the quantity of what it is basura, it will increase. And I believe that today the truck that could go from Elafonis to Scala is just one truck. And one truck it is good for the winter time. For summertime, how eventually the periphery could help, because un fruttigo is not enough, number one. And I believe that if you could help, because again, I believe that with all the respect, we cannot print money in Elafonis. What we have. And we are, again, we do our maximum, but if you could help, it's very interesting, number one. Number two is not to judge the past, but to say before, it is around generations of Dimarchia that they didn't take care in the last 30 years about the Scopedia. And I believe you are aware, but in the land, it was land of Scopedia. What you see outside, it is less than 5% of the problem. Unfortunately, they are down more than 30 meters, 35 meters, and again, you can put the dust under the carpet, you don't see the dust, but dust remains. I believe that we don't have in Elafonis the resources to take out everything. We must be aware that we had a study with University of Piraeus, and they say that what you have done in the last 30 years, it affects in the next 20 years for our kids, and the pollution of the earth and the water become very high. So it is a question that, again, when you go there, you don't see nothing, but down there is a big Tour Eiffel or Empire State Building of Scopedia. How we can do? It's not easy, but I believe it's good to put on the table instead to hide, and it is a very high cost because there are tons of tons. And if you don't do nothing, our kids will blame us because what we have down will pollute the earth and the water. I'm sorry if I put this point, but I believe we must be very open with each other.
That's okay. Just to answer, because what you mentioned, it is true, of course. You know, in every landfill you see the top, and you know, underneath it might be 10, 15, 30, 50 meters, who knows how many. This is a very widespread problem in Greece. You know that in 2010, when the European Commission brought us first to court, they had listed about 2,500 illegal landfills, and they had they pretended that they hadn't seen another 1,000, so there were at least 3,500. And unfortunately, the area with the highest number was still and is still the region of Peloponnese, because you know, as I said, waste cannot evaporate. So if you don't have legal sites for treating the waste and disposing waste, you have illegal. Now, the way we rehabilitate the old landfills has to do with the technical characteristics of the landfill, of the illegal landfill, and the hazard that is created by the landfill site. So the hazard is higher if it's close to an underground water source that is used for potable water. If it is not, then the truth is we cover it and we let the time do its job. And yes, you're right, might be 20 years, 30 years, because we have limited sources and we have to go where the problem is the highest. So we take mostly precautionary measures. So if there is an underground aquifer that is used for water, maybe we should stop using that water, because the cost of taking everything out is huge. And it's not about Greece, it's about everywhere in the world. Rehabilitation, soil rehabilitation is a very expensive exercise. So.
Only thing I would like to add, as the Secretary said before, in Peloponnesos we have a lot of, a huge number of these illegal places about all these garbages. Rehabilitation is a very expensive procedure, for sure. We all agree about that. We have started to map all these places, and we have started in the most crucial places to make all the appropriate studies in order to have the maturity, to find the resources, as you said before, and to make all the appropriate procedures. We implement the third one of them, and we believe that in a very short period we can do a lot more.
What I said it is that if you aim to have a paradise, you cannot have this problem. If you don't aim to be a paradise, it's not the gain. If you have something, you need to be consistent. If you don't aim, you are not paradise. It's not that you could accept to have something wrong, but it's less wrong compared, say, in the paradise there are some rules. I'm sorry. But thanks a lot for your, I believe that first one, thanks a lot to have remain without coffee break, without nothing, but we were waiting to have lionfish that is ready. Lionfish now it is ready for the lunch. We believe that we avoid to have a coffee break because coffee with croissant before the lunch it doesn't work. So we'll have some testing with pasta with lionfish, other different quality of lionfish, just to show that lionfish is a very good product. Just to be aware, I received just yesterday a mail from the Prince Albert chef of cuisine. They said we have a very big meeting in the Oceanographic Museum on 24 of June. Can you provide us 30 kilos of your lionfish? That means that Elafonesos, it become a place in which we put lionfish around the world. Okay, just to be aware, but we wait more because we need to test what he said. Okay, thanks a lot.